Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. James chapter 4 verses 8. Hello beautiful family. Warmest welcome back again to the Lovey Star channel. Thank you so much for coming back. So today on the menu we have some banging Hausa stew or Zongo stew family. This is so delicious and you really need to stay tuned to watch the entire process. Let's go. So here goes all the ingredients that you'll be needing for your stew. I have my canned chopped tomatoes, tomato paste, and my onions, ginger, garlic, my chili peppers, and for my natural spices today I'll be having some rosemary, aniseed, and I have my natural blended spices, and I'll be using some adobo as well. And for the meat, you need to go with the flow, okay? Whatever meat that you prefer, you can use it. But here I have some goat meat, I have some cow foot, kotodwe, and the intestines, and wele as well. I'll list everything down below in the description box. Here I'm just cutting my goat meat into smaller pieces, and these were straight from Ghana, and let me tell you, it smells just like home. They were so amazing. I had to make this stew with it, and there were a lot of fat in there, so I just went ahead and cut those part off. All right, so once that is done, I'll go ahead and give it a second wash with just water and then add all the spices. I'll go ahead and add about 2 teaspoons of adobo and add my natural blended spices. This is the dry version, and I'll catch up some few onions in there and add a little tiny bit of water, and I'll allow it to steam. Not forgetting our salt, of course. You just have to add the amount that you prefer. So to make this stew process even faster, I'm going ahead to cook my chopped tomatoes and the tomato paste. I'll chop few onions in there and add a tablespoon of curry powder, and I allow it to cook on this side before I even start with the stew process. And yes, you can also use fresh tomatoes. You just chop it and add your tomato paste to it. Here I thought it was a bit thicker. I added a cup of water, but if you are using your fresh tomatoes, I believe you will not need that much water. You might need just a little bit, so you just have to check on that. And that water is also going to let me know that the tomatoes has been cooked well. The water has been evaporated. And yes, you can use your oven as well. If you do not forget things in the oven, then it will be also a better alternative, as it evaporates the water very well. So I'll give it about 1 hour or so whilst my meat and everything is steaming well together. 50 minutes into steaming this meat, they look tender but not to the point that I really like, so I'm going to give it just 10 minutes more and we should be done. So 10 minutes later, it's done. I'm going to take out the goat meat as I'll be frying them. The rest of them, they are good. They don't need to be fried. I'll just go ahead and separate all the meat and also the stock, which is really important to me for the stew. We will be starting our stew process in a sec. So I'll just go ahead and start off by chopping all my onions and garlic. I'll be using my food processor today because no labor, no slavery, okay? And I also blend all my natural spices plus the peppers. And yes, we're about to start. I'll go ahead and add my oil in the pot and fry all my goat meat fried now at this stage. This is such a tempting stage, and I really want you to take control of yourself, okay? These goat meat are fried to perfection. Look how golden brown they look. Absolutely incredibly delicious, and it smells so good. So I'll go ahead and take them off and add my chopped garlic and onions in the oil. Fry them for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, our tomatoes has been cooked to perfection. 5 minutes later, I add all the cooked tomatoes in here. And while adding your tomatoes, you need to be careful, especially when it's not totally cooled down. It's going to create a lot of bubbles, so you have to be careful that you do not get hurt. I add my stock in here. I will give it a good stir and allow it to cook for another 35 minutes. If you know Zongo stew or Hausa stew, it has to be really fried for a very long time. That is what makes it stand out. So by using this process, you're going to make things a bit faster and easier for you. I also grated about a quarter size of nutmeg, and also you should be very careful of the choice of spices that you use, because this stew can be paired with everything, name it, teased, banku, whatever that you prefer. Okay, so 20 minutes into frying, I just go ahead and make sure that the bottom does not burn, and I will add my natural spices together with the peppers. Yes, I intentionally left the spices and the peppers to the very end because I want to feel it anytime that we're having it, because this is also in a big batch. Yes, Hausa stews are not too big with spices, but you somehow feel it, and that is the secret to it. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and add all my meat at this point. We are almost at the finishing point, and I'm so happy. A whole 2 hours of making this stew, and if you're here in the kitchen, you would just bear with me that yes, it is deserving. Those 2 hours were well spent. It tastes absolutely delicious, and just look at that. Just have a look at that. To finish it up nicely, I'll add a bit of peppers and onions to just grace it. It is just so beautiful this way. Have a look at that, fam. So good. The aroma alone would just make you fall in love with this stew. Yes, we are done, family, and the last but not the least ingredient that we will add here should be the salt. Yes, and because of the stock, the spices and everything, it's more appropriate to wait till this time to know the exact amount of salt you need in your stew. Yes, we are done, family. All that is needed is for you to allow it to simmer for 5 minutes, and it should be done. Oh yes. The very first thing that we will be pairing this with is going to be our rice, cooked with some spaghettis and our salad, of course. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It was a proper banger. I really want to thank you so much, family, for watching. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, let me know what you think about the stew recipe. Okay, and if this is your first time here, hello. My name is Lavia from the Vistach. My main goal here is to cheer you up into making your own delicious meal right at the comfort of your home. I also love to share kitchen related motivational videos, so please come on board and subscribe and join the family for amazing new recipes every week. Thank you so very much, family, for watching once again. I will see you again in my next one, but before that, just know that you're so beautiful just the way you are. See you.